Which gaming showcase was the best this summer? With no more E3, this was technically what can win our hearts at this moment when it comes down to displaying the best of the best. Now, we will be talking about the hunchos, but there were also indie showcases, PC showcases, there's a Ubisoft one, there's a few others. But for just this video, we're going to talk about the meteor processes and the displays that we did get that everybody still to this day is kind of just debating about. So let's go ahead and rank them from worst to best, at least in our opinion, and feel free to drop your comments below. Coming in at number 4, the worst showcase in my opinion is the PlayStation State of Play. This does have a huge argument as this isn't the main PlayStation showcase, but when you're having a showcase that's going to be compared and definitely alongside your competitors, it's only right for the culture that you kind of had something a lot better. State of Play actually started real slow for me, and I don't know what they did. It was just something that I was like, oh yeah, it needed to be way better. And I know Sony fans were kind of pissed off at this. I myself was just kind of disappointed. Again, not really your main aspect when it comes to a showcase, but State of Play could have at least been a lot better just out of credibility or respect. And there was something that was missing. It was just an easy push out, and I don't know, man. It was really weird to define this showcase. I do know I tuned out a lot of it because of how bad it was. But all in all, there is some gems in this showcase. But the State of Play, again, not being the main relative Sony PlayStation actual showcase, it's still gonna be compared, so definitely last place, as it was a disappointment compared to the others I'm about to name. Coming in at number 3 from the second worst, I would say Summer Games Fest. Now, speaking of starting off slow, I actually thought Summer Game Fest started off really slow also, and it was insane because I was actually having a lot of hope for this. I think a lot of people thought this was gonna be the one. This one was really hyped for some reason, and I was so excited for it myself. This definitely started off extremely slow, and it just could not hold my attention for long. There are some gems in here also, but I felt like it was way too much yapping, and they were trying to get different things across. It just felt like the content being delivered, especially a lot of rendered trailers. This is the one where I remember there was just a lot of rendered trailers versus actual gameplay, and then the yapping that came along from it was just not that great in my opinion. Too much talking, too much like really cringe transitions, and just not enough content to help with these terrible jokes, terrible announcements, and terrible I don't, something there was very choppy. It wasn't executed well. There was too much talking. The content didn't overlap all the cringe that was going on. It started off real slow. I remember I watched this, I think I was watching like with Dr. Disrespect, like reacting to it or something like that. But I know that this Summer Game Fest could have been way better. Just, I don't know, they dropped the ball big time. I actually thought this was gonna be the best one, which is kind of shocking. But yeah, Summer Games Fest coming in at number 3. Coming in at number 2 was just in recent times, which was the Nintendo Direct, and I gotta give them a huge shout out on this. Nintendo could be close to the top one, but I'm gonna put Nintendo here just due to the next day of what I'm gonna say. But Nintendo delivered. Nintendo did something by far that still shocks me till right now. What they did was they are recognizing their vision for the future and also the past. Nintendo is not known for having all these graphics and everything, except for Metroid Prime 4. That shit actually looks really good. But like, they're not known for the intense graphics, especially on a Switch console, or if you want to deem it a console, depending on who you are. The delivery is insane. Classics, you got the Marvel vs. Capcom, and I know a lot of people are talking about this as one of the better releases, which is true. But there's a lot of great things. There was a Zelda-driven game. There's Donkey Kong Country, Mario. The biggest Mario Party was announced, like what I said, aside from Metroid Prime 4 also. And then you had the classics. Then you had like Nintendo 64 bundles. Then you also just had another classic Nintendo bundle. Then you had the World Series, like the World Championships of speed runs for the classic Nintendo games. Nintendo knows exactly what they're doing right now. And there's a lot more. I think I forgot other few ones, but Nintendo knows exactly what they're doing with their audiences. They are catering to their young audiences, which is what a lot of Switch is kind of known for. For some reason, it seems like even up until this aspect, some people still don't want to really respect Nintendo because of who they're usually catered to, which is in the younger audience, which is true at times, right? I know we did see the Funko Pop game and all that stuff. But what Nintendo Switch did really well is they went back to their OG audiences that are like me, that came from like Super Nintendo, 64 era, and all of that stuff. And they're actually bringing in other classic games also with the Marvel vs. Capcom that were like from Dreamcast and PlayStation, and just making it to this amazing thing. And it's crazy that something like the Fighting Collection was actually announced on Switch, and then it finally was officially posted and announced that it was going to go to Steam and PlayStation. So PlayStation, Steam, and Nintendo Switch instead of Xbox getting it, at least for now, from what we know, is a massive announcement. And then just going back to exclusives, right? It is a Nintendo Direct show. Having officially a Zelda-driven game is huge for that audience, of course. You know, everybody that's played Zelda. Hopefully they have a huge Sheik thing that's going on too, like to just talk about Zelda. And then the biggest Mario Party ever, which is great for just people who just want to jam out, have fun with their viewers on stream, or streaming with a lot of friends, like kind of like an Among Us type ordeal, but Mario Party style. Just everything like that. Metroid Prime 4, us fans, you know, those are just great. A lot of platformer games that are coming around too. So shout out to Nintendo. I believe it was the Sonic and Shadow that was also announced on there too, right? So it's just great stuff. You got to just give it up. It's amazing what they're doing, and they just know their audience, and they know where their money is made, which is extremely young audiences and old dirt people like me that play these old-fashioned games that are very simple to attain the audiences. Bring on Mario, Donkey Kong, bring on Zelda, bring on everything that we know from Nintendo, and it's just fairly easily make remakes, remasters, classics, bundles, sell these as collections. We're gonna buy them all so that we can play, like people my age that have their own kids these days are now playing with their kid on a Nintendo Switch with classic games and with also the newer revamped games, man. So Nintendo Direct was straight up amazing. Now it didn't beat the next showcase I'm about to say, which I'm pretty sure all y'all know where I'm going to as I segue into it. So Nintendo Direct coming in at number 2. Number 1, the best actual showcase, in my opinion, was the Xbox showcase. Now, there is one debate that people will give about this showcase, meaning that not everything was actually a lot of Xbox IP titles, right? Aside from, you know, a few, but not all of them were. Like, all of them are going to be expanded throughout multiple consoles and also PC. But Xbox comes in at number 1 easily. Their showcase was incredible. They opened up with Call of Duty Black Ops. Then they follow up with Doom. Then they opened up with like State of Decay. It was just like banger after banger hit. And they did not want to yap. They had Diablo 4 expansion. They had like multiple day one Game Pass games, tons of like RPGs that are announced, open world games, and it's so many new titles that they're owning. And it was just incredible. They knew the essence. Nintendo Direct also did this really well, where they were not yapping a lot. They said, you know what? Boom, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. They fed us games and content along with gameplay and some rendered stuff, which is good. We all like cinematics, but I feel like Summer Game Fest and State of Play, they did too much of that where they didn't give a shit of content. But Xbox and Nintendo just dominated with just boom, 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 back to back to back to back of amazing content. And so Xbox was dominating, and that's and you can even put either or, depending on what kind of fan you are. You could probably put Nintendo Direct at 1 and put Xbox at 2, or like 1A, 1B or something like that. You know what I mean? Those were both goated showcases. I had such a great time watching all of that stuff. They had great announcements, classics and coming back, classic titles, right? Like Xbox had Perfect Dark and Gears of War. You're like, what? The only thing that was really saddening about Xbox was that there was nothing about Halo. So for Xbox to have an officially amazing, successful showcase, I think back-to-back years, right? It has been with them. It was weird to not see a Halo involvement in there. Rather, it's like even if it was like just a little content pack announcement for like 20 seconds, you know, it was just weird to not see that. And it shows Xbox on who they are as an identity, trying to move on from just their household titles and just really trying to become more of that expansion company and publishing company, and just whatever they're trying to do over at Microsoft is just a different vision now. And it does look cool. I love the showcase. I enjoyed it so much. It was so fun. I was locked in with that showcase. And Nintendo's also, though. That, make no mistake, Nintendo or Xbox, whatever ranking you want to put them in, y'all got to be letting me know what's up with that. But yeah, that was about it. I didn't really like Ubisoft's that much. It was alright. I don't think a lot of people were kind of mixed up about Assassin's Creed. And Indeed, man, shout out to Indeed. I know like a lot of other stuff that was pretty much shown. And then the PC one, I didn't watch too much of it, but it was solid for what I did watch. But today was just a meaty process. At number 4 was definitely State of Play. I wish Sony did better. And then Summer Games Fest, which was too boring for me. It was a lot of talking, a lot of rendered trailers in both of those, just not enough gameplay. Nintendo, number 2, just delivered and went through the roof. You can put at number 1 if you want. Number 1, Xbox. So y'all let me know what y'all think, man. I appreciate y'all. Peace.